What's going on, y'all? Thanks for checking in with Callie. Please like, subscribe if you haven't already. So, the Clippers have been one of the topics of this offseason, more so in a negative way because of their age and a lot of people do not believe in the process that they have going on right now with their team, simply because they're not the team a lot of people want them to be. They want them to be more youthful. They say they're too old, and a lot of the guys on the team have passed their prime, and they're just pretty much elder statesmen who's trying to find a way to get a title, and they really have no chance because the health is not on their side, because they're not of the youth, because they're in the elder stage of their career. Now, personally, I can sit here and look at it from both standpoints, because the Clippers definitely have a lot of older players on there, but veterans come with experience. Experience comes with wisdom. And sometimes if they're able to hold up, physically, they can impose their will on the NBA if they're actually, put together and gel together well, which I think that can happen with the team. And I think it will. Just health has to be on their side in order for them to even make a run. But honestly, I will say this. There's one piece I feel like they lost that only real Clipper fans know how it might can affect them. And honestly, maybe not every Clipper fan agrees, but when you look at the Clippers, right? Amir Coffey. To me, Amir Coffey was a good backup to Kawhi Leonard. Good, he could play the small forward position. He could even play power forward if you need him to. But the guy was shooting like 40% from three, 47% from the field. And he was only averaging 6 to 9 points based upon, coming in off the bench or starting 13 games that he did, believe, in his career or tenure with the Clippers, which has been, I think, 6 or 7 seasons. But either way, Amir Coffey was one of those pieces I felt like the Clippers should have kept, because I always felt like if he ever really got a real opportunity, he would be one of those type of guys who can give you 15 and 8 a game easily, because he can shoot really good. He's 83% from the free throw line. He can knock down threes. He's long. He's a defender. He could play defense. He's a 3-and-D type guy. And if he got more minutes, I think the Clippers really could have utilized his skill set a whole lot better than what they did. I just feel like Ty Lue never really gave him that opportunity, because the Clippers find themselves always trying to go after players, veterans who've been in the league a long time, and not really invest in their youth. And I think that's one thing that hurt the Clippers long term, or will hurt them long term, because they're trying to do this win now thing so much. Sometimes it could be to a fault. Now, of course, you want to win now because you got Kawhi at his peak. You got Kawhi playing at his best when he's healthy. You had Paul George, he was gone. But at the same time, you still got James Harden, and you still got a good team. But at the same time, I think you got to build within your nucleus, build within your team. You have decent young players who deserve an opportunity to go out there and get better and learn the system better and be a part of a system where they can actually grow as a player and grow as the type of, player you might need them to be and can rely on. And I felt like Amir Coffey was one of those type players that whenever you plug him in, he plays well, he's reliable, he's healthy, and he's a knockdown shooter, and he could play defense. So keeping somebody like him would have made their depth a little bit more, formidable. Even though they have a lot of pieces, don't get me wrong, the Clippers still going to be a good team if they're healthy. But at the same time, losing somebody like him who already knows the system, who knows everybody in the locker room for the most part, the guys who've been there for a while, the chemistry he's had with Kawhi and the rest of the team, I feel like when you lose pieces like that, you better make sure you have pieces that cover up for him. Now, of course, John Collins would be the guy who probably would cover up for him and or replace him. You could say Nicholas Batum can play his role, of course, but Nicholas Batum is so much older, you can't really expect Nicholas Batum to be at the heights of his career, because he's on the end of his career. And John Collins, well, even though he can shoot a little bit and he plays defense at the same time, I still would have kept Amir Coffey, because he could have been a good backup to him, whether John Collins got hurt or not. You know what I mean? So it's like, I feel like the Clippers could have found a way to keep him at least, because his contract really wasn't, much of anything that they had to pay out. His contract is very little. And Amir Coffey not asking for much. I do wish him the best going to the Milwaukee Bucks, because now that Amir Coffey's on the Bucks, I feel like he's going to get more of an opportunity possibly to show that he is a really good 3-and-D guy who can, play well in big moments for a team and play well when a team needs him, and then come in and give them a different look offensively as well. So I feel like that's one player I think maybe some people in the Clippers Nation might have looked at like, oh, they should have kept him. And I think they should have found a way to keep him as well, because like I said, that's a big part of your depth that you're losing, because there again, he's another youthful young player that can balance out some of your veterans. You know what I mean? Because you got a lot of veterans versus, very little youthful players on the Clippers. And you kind of want to have that balance if you can, especially, going through a 82-game season. And then you got going to a playoff war, of 7-game series. You got to kind of have that balance and get everybody on the same page, on the same level. And I thought Amir Coffey is one of those guys where wherever you plug him in, he's going to fit well and he's going to play well. And even though I don't think it's going to hurt the Clippers in the long run with him, I do think he was a valuable piece to the Clippers organization. He was a valuable piece to their roster that, if you gave him 20 plus minutes, he can give you 10 plus points. He can do that. So when you have a player that gives you that type of production based upon the minutes you give him, and he plays defense, and he's an 83, 84% free throw shooter, well, that's pretty much all you can ask for out of a bench player who hardly ever plays, and who's been within the system for some years, and who's played some starter games, who's played games as a starter and played very well in those minutes. So, I hate the fact that Amir Coffey left. I just feel like that's one of the pieces they should have kept. But, oh, well, it is what it is. Wish him the best, in Milwaukee. But, looking at the Clippers, they have a good team. They have a good roster. Hopefully they can make it work, and hopefully they can just stay healthy and see how far they can go.